right, beautiful yogis. Let's take a sigh breath. So welcome to the Karuna Trees YouTube channel. My name is Veda Spidle, and this is Gentle Yoga and Sound Healing. In this class, we'll be focusing on strengthening self-confidence and the core, both related to each other. For today's class, you'll want to have a few props with you. I recommend having a few blankets. You see that mine are back there. And also 2 blocks if you have them, and a yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat, find a comfortable place to practice in that has some support, where you have support beneath your feet. We will be doing a little bit of standing. And I'm really excited about that because it's been like 6 weeks since I could do that. So I'm really excited to practice like that with you guys today. And turn on the lights, anything you need to do to set your space. And once you have all of that, we are going to start laying down. So as you're gathering your things, I also want to mention for those of you that would like to give donations, you can give them directly to me at paypal.me/theKarunaTree. That's paypal.me/theKarunaTree. And if you're not able to donate right now, that's okay. Please continue to practice with us, with me, and we all show up for each other in different ways of supporting each other, so that's okay. Got to show up for our practice, right? This is part of our self-care. So go ahead, once you have your stuff, lay down on your back. Now, because we are going to be doing some work with standing, I don't have a blanket down on my mat. If you want to put a blanket down right now to have a little bit of cushion underneath your back, you can go ahead and do that, and just keep in mind to readjust or to move that once we get on our feet. All right, have your props nearby. Maybe choosing to support your head. And if you have any difficulty with the low back when you're laying down on the floor, you can put support underneath your knees. You can also bend the knees, feet to the floor, or you can widen the feet, keeping the knees bent, and let the knees drop in at midline. So finding a comfortable resting position on your back. Arms by your sides, palms up right now. Make sure your blocks are within reach. If you don't have your blocks, if you don't have any, that's okay. So once you're here, take another deep breath in. Let it go through the mouth. And closing your eyes or taking a soft gaze. Begin to settle into the space that you're in, aware of your surroundings, feeling the floor beneath you, feeling how you're supported. Feel yourself in your body. See if you can be so present in your body right now that you can feel the air on the skin. Relax the muscles of the face, the jaw. Be fully here, present with yourself, just as you are. Taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for showing up for your self-care. Showing up for your practice and energetically acknowledging each other, your fellow yogis. Feel that connection. Awareness returns to yourself, to your breath. And right now, without making any changes to your breathing pattern, just see if you can breathe in and out of the nose. And if it's comfortable for you, placing the hands on the lower abdomen If you'd like, one hand can stay there, one hand can go to heart center. We'll do 3 rounds of Om. You can join, you can hum, or you can just listen. Let's first inhale together. Let it go. And inhale. Keeping the eyes closed. If you don't have blocks, just put both hands back on the abdomen. If you have a block, just one right now, go ahead and grab that block and place it on the navel. If this is new for you, you can always look at me. I'm doing this with you. And then if you have the block on the belly, the arms can be by your sides, palms up. So our core area, the solar plexus area, is associated to our self-esteem, our confidence, right? How we're showing up for ourselves and how we feel when we show up in the world. So today we're going to be focusing on the core, both physically, energetically. And one of the big pieces for how we're feeling in our body and in our skin is how we breathe. So if our breath is tight and constricted, then we're going to feel like that in our body too. So let's see if we can begin to free ourselves and go more towards the direction of supporting ourselves, feeling connected to ourselves with the breath. Bringing your awareness to the abdomen. And every inhale, allow the belly to gently expand. And if you have the block, you'll feel the block float up towards the ceiling. And every exhale, the navel gently drops down. Don't force the exhale. Let the exhale release on its own, but make sure it's complete. If you have your hands on the belly, on the inhale, you'll feel the hands rise. And with the exhale, you'll feel them drop down. So we're going to be doing this for about 2 more minutes. Feeling the belly expand on the inhale. Feeling it drop down on the exhale. Keeping the throat relaxed for those of you that are avid practitioners or are accustomed to using Ujjayi Pranayam, the victorious breath. Right now, we're not doing that. Keep the breath relaxed. Keep the throat relaxed. The inhale, belly expands. The exhale, belly drops down. So with our breath alone, we can begin to unlock holding in the body, unresolved emotions. And today with our focus on the core, on the abdomen, on our solar plexus, you might have emotions or memories, thoughts that arise associated to your self-confidence, your self-esteem. And if they arise, witness them, observe them, acknowledge them, and then keep breathing. And if nothing shows up, that's perfectly normal too. Also, keep breathing. A little bit more. Keep the awareness on the breath. We actively want to feel the belly expand, the belly drop down on the exhale. If you find that your breathing is opposite, that can happen. That happens with stress, can happen with other things. And so right now we're resetting our breathing pattern into one that's more supportive. Now continue to breathe like this and see if you can expand the breath up to the heart center. So the inhale, belly expands up into the ribs and the chest. And on the exhale, the chest relaxes, the ribs relax, belly draws in. Keep the breath moving, feeling the breath also expand into the sides of the body and the back body. And if you've never brought this much awareness to your breath before and you're noticing that it's a little bit difficult, give yourself time. It's not going to happen in one class, and that's okay, right? So part of our self-confidence and our self-esteem is knowing that our best is enough, and our best can change from day to day, and that's okay. 2 more cycles here. Relax the jaw, settle into your body. 1 more breath. Now you can move the block off to the side, arms go by your sides, palms up. If you want to go out to letter T or cactus with the back of the hands to the floor, that's fine. Bend the knees, feet to the floor for windshield wipers. Let the feet be wider than hips. And then drop the knees side to side. The exhale, the knees drop to the side. The inhale, the legs come through center. And then continue this movement, but heel toe the feet in towards midline, and then continue side to side again. So when we work with our core and strengthen our core, you might also find that it helps to support your posture and your low back. And that is one of the ways that you show up in the world, the way that you're standing, the way that you hold yourself. Come back to center. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug, maybe internally telling yourself, I love myself. If that's difficult for you, then maybe just the word love. 1 more breath. Rock side to side. This is soothing on the nervous system. Massages the low back and a healthy compression on the abdomen. Good, and then roll over to your comfortable side, curling into the fetal position. In transition, we'll take about 2 to 3 more breaths here, deepening the breath. Relaxing the muscles of the face. And when you're ready, press yourself up and slowly make your way into table. And if you need to support yourself underneath the ankles or the knees, go ahead and grab your blankets or your towels for that. And then if you have blocks, you'll place them at the front 2 corners of the mat. And I like to start them at the middle setting. You can always change from there. Okay, knees are stacked underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet are to the floor, toenails right now relaxed against the mat. Inhale, scoop the tailbone up, feel the belly drop, heart gaze forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, chin to chest. Continue this movement with the breath. It's a healthy stretch on the abdomen and the spine. About 1 more cycle of breath. Come back to neutral spine, tuck the toes under. Inhale again, belly drops, heart gaze lifts. Exhale, round the spine, and with that same exhale, press your hips to heels. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, round and press back. About 2 more. Come back to neutral tabletop. Extend the right leg out behind you. Level the hips. I'm going to readjust myself here a little bit because I'm coming off the mat. Level the hips. Check that your wrists are relatively under the shoulders. Fingers are wide. Draw the head of the arm bones in so you're supporting yourself at the shoulders, at the heart space. Feel the low belly gently draw in, right? Starting to feel a little bit of the core work and supporting the low back. And then maybe the left hand comes to the block. or up on the fingertips. You can lift the right leg off the floor. If you're a hyperextender, keep the right elbow slightly bent. Maybe the left arm floats off the ground. Palm faces midline or to the floor. So it starts to work the core. We keep breathing, and whichever stop you're at, whichever variation you're doing, remember your best is enough. Breathe into the shape that you're taking. With your exhale, release. And then we do the other side. Left leg extends. Level the hips, relax the heart down. Maybe the right hand comes out in front onto a block. Keep the shoulders level to the floor. Low belly draws in. Maybe the arm and the leg lift. So as we come up against challenges, how do we breathe through them? How do we show up for ourselves? Another breath. And then slowly release table. Widen the hands, bring the legs in towards midline for your hip release. Untuck the toes, and then sway the hips side to side. Once more to each side. And then taking child's pose, big toes touch, knees go wide. You can put a blanket or pillow between your hips and heels if you need that additional support and space for the knee joints. You can take a block underneath the forehead. If the floor needs to be brought a little bit closer, you can stack your hands and rest the forehead on the hands. If this doesn't feel good for you, from table, taking puppy instead. In this case, hips are stacked over the knees, upper body bows forward. So whichever one you're at, we're here for a little bit longer. And see as you breathe, as you inhale, if you can allow the belly to relax towards the ground. And as you exhale, feel the energy as you pull the navel back in toward the spine. See if you can feel some of the breath expand into the back body. About 2 to 3 more breaths. And then the hands press into the floor. Bring yourself up to table. Let the breath go. Grab your blocks, place them underneath the hands. Now, if you don't have blocks, you might choose to be up on fingertips or fists with the eye of the fist facing forward. And then confidently step the right leg forward between the hands. Back knee can stay on the ground. Front knee is over the front ankle. Lengthen the spine and take a breath here. If you want to go a little bit further, bring yourself into lunge. Back toes tuck under. Extend out through the back heel. Lengthen the spine even more. Wherever you're at in your body is okay. Breathe with it. Inhale here. Maybe exhale, straighten the front leg and fold. Inhale, front knee bends, heart gaze lifts. Exhale, straighten and fold. 2 more. So part of being comfortable in your own skin is honoring yourself. Listening to your body's safety stops, showing up for yourself at any given moment the way that you know how to show up for yourself best. Coming into lunge, building side angle. The right hand can stay on the block. The back heel spins in and down, the outer edge of the foot parallel to the short end of the mat. Left hand can come to the left hip. Maybe the right forearm comes to the right thigh. Palm facing up. Lengthen the spine. The right buttock scoops under. Stacking the left arm, or lifting the left arm up towards the sky or up overhead. Then check in with your breathing. Right, and if we tumble out of this, if we're shaking, we can always get back into place. We can always get back up. Most importantly, that you're breathing. Meet yourself where you're at. Laugh if you fall over, and then start again. 1 more breath. And then slowly release to lunge. Straighten the front leg, reach the heart forward, maybe bow. And then re-bend the front knee, back knee touches down to the floor. Make sure now that the front knee's over the front ankle, bring your hands up to the top of the front thigh, lengthen the spine, keep breathing. Then bring your hands together at heart center. You might choose to stay here or begin to twist, taking the left elbow to the outer edge of the right thigh. One more breath. Slowly unwind, return to table. Extend the right leg behind you for leg pushbacks. Inhale here, exhale, push the leg back. So you're pushing the mat away, stretching into the extended leg. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, push back. One more. Now keep the leg extended. Shoulders return over the wrist. You can stay here or inhale, float the right leg off the floor. Exhale, touch it down just until the big toe touches down to the floor, and then bring the leg back up. Do this a few more times. About one more. And then return to table. Good. I'm going to turn around so it's a little bit easier to follow along for what we're doing. So from table, now the other side, grab your blocks, step the left leg through to lunge, steady yourself. All right, so the way that you're taking care of yourself, the way that you take care of your foundation, your breath, you become steadier as you build up from there. Back toes maybe tuck under and the back knee can lift off the floor, building lunge. Lengthen the spine, relax the face, keep breathing. And make it dynamic. Inhale, heart gaze lifts. Exhale, straighten the front leg and maybe fold. A few more. It's about 3. On one side might feel different than the other, and that's okay. Come back into lunge. We build side angle, back heel spins in and down, front heel to back heel or front heel to back arch alignment. Left hand can stay on the block, right hand to the hip. Maybe the left forearm floats up on the thigh and the right arm to the sky. The breath moving in and out of the nose. Maybe the top arm sweeps up overhead. All right, so try to mirror what you did on the other side if that's available to you. So for those of you that know, I'm healing from an injury, and for me on the side, it's different than the other. And even though I know that in the past I've been able to go further, right now I'm meeting myself here, and that's okay. Another breath. Slowly release down to lunge. Straighten the front leg, reach the heart forward, maybe bow. And then re-bend the front knee, back knee touches down. Hands come up to the top of the front thigh, lengthen the spine. Hands can come to heart center, begin to twist to the left, hooking the elbow on the outer edge of the thigh. Keep breathing. Can't see it, but I'm smiling here. So if you want to join, take a smile. Sometimes we have to fake that until we make it, right? And slowly unwind, return to table, and then extend the left leg behind you. Leg pushbacks, level the hips 3 times. As you exhale, push the mat away from you. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. You have about 1 more. Keep the leg extended, float the leg off the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, barely touch down the big toe. Once it does, lift it back up and continue this movement with the leg. Try to keep the lower abdomen gently drawn in. 1 more. And then return to table. I'll spin around again. So we're on the side I usually teach from, and then you can come into child's pose or puppy. Taking a moment here to surrender anything that might be coming up for you that is ready to go. Surrendering it to the earth, she can transform it. Creating more freedom in your body, in your mind. And then breathing into that place of stability and strength. Freeing yourself of limiting beliefs and unhealthy tendencies. And instead focusing on your strengths, what you're proud of, things that you want to work on. A few more breaths. And slowly bring yourself up to table. Let the breath go. And then from here, I recommend for those of you that want to have a little extra cushion underneath you, go ahead and open up your blanket now for the length of your practice space. And then sitting down so that your knees are bent. In the case of me having a mat, I'm bringing my toes to the front end of the mat. My feet are about hip width apart, and the arms right now by your sides or behind you, float the heart up. And actually, I need a little bit more space because of the bookshelf. All right, lengthen the spine. Breathe deeply here. Breathe with confidence. Let the breath be full and steady. But relax the face. Don't overdo it, because if we overdo it, it becomes harsh, right? We still want to be approachable. We still want to be able to flow with life, but we want to do it with confidence. And then you can bring the arms by your sides to the floor. This might be enough for you. Or maybe behind the thighs, playing with some variations of boat pose. You might choose to float the legs off the floor and hang out here, or maybe the shins parallel to the floor. And I won't be able to demonstrate this today, but if it's available to you, you can straighten both legs and keep the heart lifted. For all of us, we're keeping the heart lifted. Core is engaged here. Keep breathing. Shaking happens. And then slowly release the feet to the floor. You can give yourself a hug, a seated hug, or you can bring the hands behind you and lift the heart. One more breath in transition. And then again, setting your feet, your hands. Sitting bones are rooted. Feel the belly here. Navel gently draws in. The heart lifts, but you're not drawing the belly in so much that you're rounding at the low back. All right, we want to be able to still keep the spine elongated, playing with lifting the shins parallel to the floor, and maybe you're straightening the legs. Hug the shoulder blades together if that helps. That'll help to lift the heart and support the spine, and then slowly release. Take a transition breath. And once more. So play with it. Maybe you're straightening one leg at a time. It's a part of expanding our awareness on ourselves and our self-esteem and confidence is knowing that it's okay to make mistakes. It's part of living, it's part of life. And if you fall over here, or if you're shaking, or if you feel like you're not doing it right, that's okay. Keep breathing. Keep doing your best. One more breath. And then slowly release the feet. Take a transition breath. And then feet to the floor. You can either use your hands to bring yourself all the way down, or a little more core work here. Bring the arms out by your sides. Hug the shoulder blades together. Tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel in, and one vertebra at a time, slowly lower yourself all the way down. And then hug the knees into the chest. So I said a little bit more core work when we were lowering down. That was for the seated portion. There's still more. Rock side to side. And then draw a few knee circles. And sorry if I didn't catch you guys earlier. If your blocks are further away, you're going to need them nearby. So if they're further away, you get to rock forward and back, use the core some more and grab your blocks. Hug the knees into the chest, float the forehead up to meet the knees. Full body stretch. Then arms by your sides, bend the knees, feet to the floor. And then grab your blocks. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can do this without them. This just helps you to stay in alignment a little bit more, and it's also a bit more engagement for the body. One block between the thighs. What you're looking for here with the width of the block is that for your body, your thigh bones are as parallel as possible. And the other block between the ankles, the feet, and hugging those in. Lifting the knees over the hips. Now, for more of a challenge, you're going to keep your shins parallel. For less, you're going to let the heels drop in towards the buttocks. Okay, so choose which one works for you. And then take your hands, placing them on the knees or right below the knees on the thighs. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed down, relax the jaw. And then begin to push against the thighs. And with that same effort, the thighs are pushing back against your hands, creating an isometric squeeze. So if I were to come and stand at your feet and pull on your knees, I wouldn't be able to move them. So you want to feel the work in the abdomen and the core. You'll start to feel some shaking. Keep breathing. And then you can hug the knees into the chest or feet to the floor, taking a transitional breath or two. So feel that strength in the abdomen, below the navel, right? We're tapping in to our physical strength. We're working with our emotional strength. And again, set your knees over the hips and the shins parallel to the floor for more of a challenge. Hands to the thighs or knees. They're pressing against each other. Begin. So you want to be able to work towards holding this for about 10 seconds and 3 sets. And I said work towards because we're all going to be in different places in our practice and in our abilities. Your best is enough. Work with your body where you're at. Honor your body. Honor yourself. Another breath. Slowly release. Take a moment here. Relax the abdomen. And again, set your legs. Set your hands, your arms. Relax the shoulders, the jaw. Remember to not overcorrect. So if you're overcorrecting, you're going to feel too harsh. We want to be in that place with ourselves where we can feel confident and strong. Keep going, keep breathing. If you haven't started, start now. You want to be able to still move with ease in life, to go with the flow. Don't become so harsh that you are a rock that has sunk to the bottom of the river. All right, we're a boat. A boat is strong, it's confident, but it's able to move on the water. Another breath. And then slowly release. Keep the blocks if you have them. Relax the arms by your sides, palms up, knees are bent, feet to the floor. Take a few breaths here. Actively feel your belly rise and fall as you breathe. Now working on the lower side bodies, and I learned this from our wonderful Janet Humphrey, for those of you that know her. You'll bring the knees up, and again, less intensity, dropping the heels in towards the body. Otherwise, the shins are up parallel to the floor. If you want even more of a challenge, you'll straighten your legs with the soles of the feet starting by pointing up to the ceiling. Now, you might find it better to have your arms out wide, palms down or palms up. Make sure that rotation's at the forearms. Draw the navel in gently. Make sure you can still breathe. Don't constrict the breath. Inhale at midline. As you exhale, slowly lower the knees, the legs to the left, and right before touching the floor or far before it, come back to center, and then over to the other side. Inhale to center, exhale to the side. Keep this going. So you don't have to go all the way down towards the floor. You might be only going a few degrees. You have to take care of your body, your spine. You're working on strengthening the core for yourself. And if you find that there's any thoughts that arise where you feel that you can't do this or it's too difficult, acknowledge them and then refocus on your breath. Do what you can. And every time, you might be able to do a little bit more. Come back to center, feet to the floor. Take a moment here. Relax the muscles. Once more, float the legs up, set them to the variation that works for you, and then begin side to side. If you need to bring the floor closer to you on either side, you can put blankets on the outer edges of your practice space so that your legs can touch down or just barely touch down to those instead. About 2 more to each side. Keep breathing. When that's complete, keep the blocks, but release the feet to the floor. Check in with your breath. If you're sweating, embrace it. If you're not, that's normal. It's okay. It's all normal. And then check in with the block on your feet. For this next piece, we're building bridge. I'm going to go to a little bit of a wider setting. So if your feet weren't already hip width apart, you might need to adjust so that they really are. Heels come as close to underneath the knees as possible. Now, both blocks might not be the same width, and that's okay, right? Because it's just the way our body works. So you might need one block that's on the thinner setting, right? Or the wider. So check in with your thigh bones, check in with your feet. Arms come into robot arms, palms facing each other, fingertips point up. Use the upper arms to press down into the floor, tuck the shoulder blades under. Back of the head is staying on the ground. Press down through the feet. Inhale, the belly up, the ribs, the heart, and then exhale 1 vertebra at a time, slowly lower down. Inhale as you press up, maybe internally saying to yourself, I've got this. And as you exhale, releasing any doubt, letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. A few more. About 2 more. Okay, now keep the effort. Press down through the feet with confidence and strength. Keep that. Keep the belly lifted, the ribs, the heart lifted. Keep breathing. Feel your feet in the contact with the floor. Feel yourself in this pose. Feel the sensations of being in this pose. If something hurts, readjust. If it doesn't, just feel your body active. Feel the belly pressing up towards the sky. Feel your feet rooted and planted. Press up a little bit more. Another breath. And then slowly release down. Hug the knees in towards the chest. You can move the blocks off to the side. Acknowledge yourself for this beautiful practice that you're doing for yourself, this work and you showing up. So even if your practice is just you laying down and breathing, that is beautiful, and that's where you're at. 1 more breath in this transition. And then you release the arms by your sides, palms up or palms down. Remember that rotation happens at the forearms. Just keep the shoulder blades tucked under, back of the head to the floor. And then bring the knees parallel to each other and over the hips. And then bring the shins up parallel to the floor. Sorry, knees right over the hips, shins parallel to the floor. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, touch the right heel right to the ground, and right before it fully lands, float it back up. And then do the same with the other side. Exhale, the heel just touches the ground. Inhale it back up. A few more on each side. So the lower belly is contracted. You want to feel the breath moving, but don't worry too much about how you're breathing. Just keep the breath moving through the nose if you can. About one more on each side. When that's complete, draw the knees into the chest. Now, if that was enough for you, you can stay like this, or you can return to what we just did, touching the heels down. Otherwise, hug the left knee into the chest, extend the right leg out. With your inhale, float the leg up, and exhale, touch the leg down. And right before the heel fully lands, the back of the heel, float the leg back up. So if you're doing what we just previously did, alternating legs, continue to do that. Otherwise, right now you're working on just the right side. About 2 to 3 more. Keeping the leg as extended as possible. And right before it lands on the ground, it floats back up. One more. And then switch legs. If you're alternating legs, keep it going if you can. If you need to stop at any point, hug the knees into the chest. And all of us have our knees come into the chest. These are the days where if I'm in a class with all of you, I anticipate you guys being able to read my mind and what I'm trying to teach. And then draw the knees up to the chest. Full body stretch. And let the breath go. Release the arms by your sides, windshield wipers, knees side to side. So it took me a long time in the beginning when I first started teaching to trust myself, to feel confident enough in what I was sharing and teaching in classes to actually not have a script or a paper near me. It actually took me about 2.5 years. It took me another year to be comfortable with making jokes and messing up. So here we are, we all make jokes. Or we all mess up, we all make mistakes, and it's okay to laugh at ourselves. Bring the knees and feet in closer, and again, side to side. It's part of our humanness to have those imperfections and those slip-ups and not being able to always speak clearly. Give yourself compassion for that. It means nothing less in how wonderful you are, and see if you can have that be part of your self-esteem and your confidence to know that those things are okay. Come back to center. Keep the legs in towards midline. Bring the arms out wide if you have the space, palms facing up. Press down through the feet. We're setting up for our twist. And as you press down, hips up to the right, lower the hips down, and let the knees drop to the left. Hips are stacked, and the head pivots on the neck, gaze to the right. And bring yourself back to midline. And other side, press down through the feet, hips up to the left and down, and then drop the knees to the right. And maybe the gaze to the left. Bring it back to center. Taking reclined bound angle. We're already reclined, we're on our back. If you need to bring yourself up on pillows at an angle, please do so. If you're choosing to do that, keep your buttocks on the floor. And please, please, please have some types of support here on the outer edges of the legs. This way your body can really relax and not have to hold itself up. So it might be blocks, it might be pillows or blankets. For an extra feeling of grounding, rooting, you can put a blanket across the hips and the abdomen, as long as it doesn't constrict your breathing. Arms by your sides, palms up. You might choose to put a blanket underneath the head. And one other option here for the back is if you want to support the spine but not be up at an angle, you can take a blanket or two, fold them lengthwise so it looks like this, placing that lengthwise behind you. In this case, your buttocks is also on the floor. The blanket supports your spine. You recline back, so readjust if you need to here so that your glutes, the muscles of your butt are on the floor, and then support the outer edges of the legs, support your head as needed. Just don't lift your head too high. We're trying to still keep the ear in line with the center of the shoulder. Blanket again across the hips or an eye pillow, blanket to cover up in, anything else that you need. If this doesn't feel good for you, extend the legs out, put support underneath the knees. So make yourself as comfortable as possible. You'll hear me get the bowls. And as you settle into this pose, remain aware enough to be able to reflect. Not just on how you felt in your practice today, but on what helps you to feel stronger, more confident. And if there's anything in your life that doesn't support that, that you feel has maybe already had its time in your life, right? It could be a habit, it could be anything. If there's something that needs to go to create space for your own growth, how does that feel? So you're reflecting, you're observing. What can you do for yourself in your life to feel more confident in your skin, in your body? What can you do for yourself to feel more confident in the way that you're showing up in the world? What helps you with your sense of self? Reflect, observe what comes up. Let's take, for example, a shirt. If you have a shirt that you put on and you've tried it on several times and it's been sitting in your closet and you just don't feel good in it, does it serve you to keep that shirt? Do you feel more confident in yourself when you take time in the day to write? When you take time for your practice, for meditation, taking a walk? What helps you to feel better in your body, in your skin, with your sense of self? And you can choose here to maybe make an agreement with yourself to make the choices that help to support you. To help support yourself in how you're showing up for yourself and how you show up in the world. And it's okay if it's something simple or something complex. There's no judgment here. If you want to remain in bound angle in place of traditional savasana, you can stay just as you are. If you wish to readjust to your legs out straight or maybe lying on your side, go ahead and do that now, but try to keep the eyes closed. Making any adjustments that you need to feel comfortable, and only you really know what that feels like for you. Do your best in supporting yourself and trust your best. And relax the body. Your body has been your trusted vehicle. And it plays such a big role in your contributions to this world. It plays such a big role in your accomplishments and experiences. Let your body now, for the next few minutes, let it rest. Let your mind rest on the breath as you let the breath come and go with ease, releasing control. And allow yourself to just be. Let go. Remain still and allow your awareness to return to your breath. Remaining in this relaxed state, create an affirmation for yourself that is related to what we practiced here today. And you can start it with I am. And repeat it to yourself a few times internally. Feel your affirmation resonate through your whole body. Begin to deepen the breath as you bring back gentle movements. Enjoy a slow awakening. Take your time. Keep the eyes closed. Slowly turning over to rest in the fetal position on your comfortable side. Deepen the breath even more. And slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat, placing one hand at the lower abdomen, one hand at heart center. Through the bridge of the breath, feeling the connection to yourself. Feeling yourself in your body. Safe, secure, strong. And soft in the skin. And from the place of strength and confidence, we'll close with a single sound of Om. Receive your breath. Bowing head to heart in honor of each other, ourselves, and this practice. Thank you so much. Namaste.